Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special Week 4 edition of In-Season ADP Chasing. Today, we're putting the victory lapping, the bag defending, the coping aside. We're going to look forward towards the rest of the season and draft a best ball resurrection draft on Underdog Fantasy in just a little bit. Let's do it.
ADP chasing is for when you watch ship chasing, you go, these guys are just football guys.
And the targets per outrun leagues, that's going to be really nice.
Actually, back in if it's Ashane.
Stare into our crystal ball. Close your eyes. All your entries are going to lose anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is a Deuce Vaughn show.
It's anti-cabal. It's the best ball thought leaders. I'm obviously lying to some degree because, I have a lot of both of these guys.
It's the most disgusting pick you can make. But, man. Hey guys, welcome. Week 4 in season ADP Chasing. Joined as always by Pat Kerrane and Mattek. Start today with some depressing news. Just get it over with out in front. Terrible Rashee Rice injury news. Davis, how are we doing as a Chiefs fan, as a Rashee Rice drafter? How are you feeling today?
I mean, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Already was not going to be a particularly good year for our sort of subset of drafters, wide receiver heavy, very youth focused, very rookie focused, not a ton of big dog, not a ton of Barkley. I mean, that was the one thing we had, was that the boomers were not drafting Rashee Rice really. Rashee Rice looked like basically the best pick on the board, at least the best pick on the board at the wide receiver position. He's out for the year. Mahomes teams are dead. I've seen a lot of chatter this is Xavier Worthy's going to feed families. And it's Xavier Worthy is going to get some more targets, but you don't really want him to be the focal point of opposing defenses. The idea that basically there's absolutely no punishment for putting a safety over the top. If you were Matt Nagy, how are you punishing the Chiefs from shading coverage towards Worthy all the time? It's Justin Watson's really going to eat us up. And the Chiefs they're just going to win. They're going to go 13-4. They're going to win the Super Bowl, and they're not going to have one signature moment of the entire season.
Yeah, this is still going to be a really good team.
I don't know. I think this hurts their chances of making a run, to be honest. I mean, because to your point, they have Worthy, they have Kelsey, but Kelsey is not looking like what he used to be.
He looked a lot better yesterday, I thought.
He looked better yesterday, but he's, over the first 3 weeks, teams were doubling Worthy and doubling Kelsey. But then Rice was feasting. And I think if they had doubled Worthy and doubled Rice, that Kelsey has enough left in the tank against single coverage to do pretty well. So you had to pick your poison there, but there were 3 guys, and it already was not as exciting and as fun as we were used to with Patrick Mahomes, but they could do this kind of underneath dump off stuff, yards after catch a little bit with Rice and Kelsey. But I think, you saw Sky Moore out there. I mean, it's, you see Sky Moore and you're like, maybe play Juju.
They have to make a trade. Obviously the pie in the sky is Devontae Adams. I would caution against thinking that's going to happen. It's just not really what they do. I was even surprised when they signed Hollywood, but they were able to get Hollywood for not a ton of money. I think it's Treylon Burks, Jalen Hyatt, and you might
Burks
go.
Isn't what they need. They need I don't know.
Think back to what Burks was in college, though. Burks was a big slot yak guy in college. That's actually a better fit for what he can do than what he's being asked to do in the NFL so far.
This is just good. You're just being a good friend. I mean, Rashee Rice was one of my biggest stands, probably my best stand in best ball. So now you telling me that Treylon Burks is going to go to the Chiefs. You're just trying to cheer me up.
I think of all the options they have available to them, I think Treylon Burks for a conditional 5th round draft pick is
sounds
probably great. I think it's probably
it's a bit of an overpay, but it sounds great.
It's a bit of an overpay. The other thing is, and this is such evidence as to how dead he is, but Michael Thomas is still technically a free agent.
Hunter Renfrow.
Dude, so something had to have happened to Hunter Renfrow. There's got to be a non-football thing going on with him there's no reason for him to not be signed. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if Hunter Renfrow could come and play, Hunter Renfrow would be, and he would be a godsend to this
Hunter Renfrow is
organization.
kind of perfect. Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
I agree. Something's going on there.
Yeah, the other bigger names that have been floated, Devonta Adams is like the obvious one. Peter Schrager had a tweet this morning. I think it was just like pure speculation from him, not like any insider reporting, but he threw out both Cooper Kupp and Keenan Allen. Both those make sense to me, just in the sense that it could be lost seasons for Chicago and the Rams, maybe teams that are looking more towards next year than competing this year. But yeah, I don't really know like the cap situation. I think you have to figure out how that's going to work. Both those guys have.
It's also
pretty
not a
big
lost
habits.
season for the Bears. Like you're working in a rookie quarterback. You don't trade away his weapons.
It would have to be, yeah, they would have to be getting like a big offer from the Chiefs. And by big, I mean like a second or third round pick. I don't think the Chiefs would do that.
They did trade away a third round pick for Tony. Like they would prefer to be quote unquote buying low on someone they think has some upside as opposed to just getting a rental.
Tony is like kind of a more of a Rice replacement, although I mean he's Tony. That's the only problem.
He's on the Browns practice squad, and according to reports, they already hate him. He already is like been late to meetings, and like everyone in the building hates him already.
God.
Yeah. Anyways, this isn't a waiver show, so we can end the discussion here. But is there any answer on waivers for who you pick up with Rashee Rice? My lean is like they're going to trade for someone, so none of these guys are great options. But my lean.
Do you think they trade for? I would assume they don't.
I think they're going to trade for someone, but it like Davis threw out, like it could be like a Treylon Burks, Jalen Hyatt level trade. Like I don't think a big trade is really.
I think
they should trade for. Well, it's probably the contract is so stupid that they shouldn't. But I was going to say Judy, but Kirk's actually a much better answer.
Judy won't happen, but Kirk.
Yeah, the deal is too.
The deal's too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk's a really good answer.
Cortland Sutton's not like a great stylistic fit to replace Rashee Rice, but he's another guy like contract wise.
They just need a body.
I think he's expiring after this year. So
you want to know the real answer as to who your pickup is, and this obviously pertains more to FFPC, but Noah Gray is going to be like 65% route share.
Yeah, Noah Gray's the answer
for the next month.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. What about Myers? Jacoby Myers.
He makes more money than you think. I want to say he makes $13 million, which is like not nothing. The Chiefs have $5 million in cap space right now, and they do not want to add on. Like this is their whole. They fucking traded away Tyreek Hill. It's so funny how we do this. They traded away the literal best stylistic fit for Mahomes in the NFL to save some money. They're not taking on a bunch of dead money. Like they're not taking on bad money to win one extra game.
What about Adam Thielen?
How they operate. Thielen would be a good one if he wasn't.
Yeah, the injury I think makes that tough because I think he's still going to be in IR when the trade deadline happens. So like, it's just an iffy bet to make. Marquise Brown, I guess technically for the NFL playoffs, this isn't fantasy relevant, but Marquise Brown could be back for the NFL playoffs potentially, right, Davis? So it sounds iffy.
It sounds bad. Yeah.
What about Wan'Dale Robinson?
Oh God. I mean, they wouldn't do it. I think he's too integral to what they do in New York. I just think they wouldn't.
But what they do is lose games.
Daboll is coaching for his job. So
yeah, you're right.
So it's not, if Daboll was more secure in his job, I think that would be, I mean, God, that would be perfect. Wan'Dale and the Chiefs would actually be like legitimately fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This one is actually pretty interesting to me. Hopkins,
he's got this knee sprain that he's playing through, or it's like a partially torn ligament. Or maybe
beggars can't be choosers in Kansas City right now.
I think you can be chooser in this case. I don't.
Here's
I don't think
the
Hopkins
thing, man.
really adds much.
As we talk through it, I'm like, they're. I think it's unlikely. I think it's unlikely that they do it. I think they go Mahomes, Nagy. You guys made your bed. We've given you. We gave you Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. That should have been enough. That should have been enough to win the Super Bowl. Everyone gets hurt. Deal with it.
I mean, in this case, like I was going to say, like, what is it? Mahomes' fault, but it actually is.
It's Mahomes' fault for just playing like such dog shit for a month.
I'm literally putting his shoulder.
That was like a Trevor Lawrence level overthrow in the interception that led to the ACL tear. That was, I mean, you can't blame him for the injury, obviously, but it was a really, really bad.
You know, I watched.
I mean, I think you can, if you're going to blame anybody, you maybe could blame Mahomes in this case. He threw the interception and he makes the tackle.
I watched it again, and was it Rice who was targeted on? Who was targeted on the play?
I don't know.
It doesn't
I
matter.
don't think it was Rice. I think it was Worthy, maybe.
Whoever it was did not get up high enough. Whoever it was could have changed the trajectory of it.
That honestly
and
doesn't
didn't.
narrow it down on the Chiefs. Not a bunch of leapers on the Chiefs right now.
No. You know, I'm down bad that Worthy scored a 55-yard bomb touchdown, and I was just like, all right. Like, it was such a goddamn bummer. It literally, it was Kelsey. So obviously Kelsey didn't get. And then Rice makes the extra effort on the play to punch the ball out. Like Rice is like trying to do the DK Metcalf highlight play, and he ends up with a ripped knee. Just God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Football is brutal. Davis, if you're mentally able to, you want to pull up a resurrection draft and get that going. That's going to be the focus of today's show, guys. No panic buttons, no victory laps, no bag defending. Although I'm sure we'll get there on the way during the draft, but we're just going to do an old-fashioned draft stream today, Best Ball Resurrection. If you want to compete with us, I think Davis has already entered the draft now, so feel free to go ahead and enter that. So this tournament, just giving an overview of what this is. This is week 6 to 17, and it's the same kind of format as Best Ball Mania. You have to win your pod in weeks 6 through 14, I believe, and then a couple tournament weeks, weeks 15, week 16, week 17. I'm trying to pull up the advance rate structure now.
It's the same. It's smaller. It's smaller Best Ball Mania, 30K to first. But yeah, it's completely the same.
Okay. It is the weeks 15. I guess just pulling up now, the one minor difference maybe is the weeks 15 and 16 group sizes are just 5-person groups in weeks 15 and 16. So much easier to advance out of those. And then 188-person finals. So I think the week 15 and week 16 stacking that was fairly important in Best Ball Mania, in my opinion, is probably much less important here. Kind of all about week 17 in terms of game stack.
Yeah, this is the Cope tournament. This is the try and feel better tournament. So they want to make it a little bit. They want to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. What are you? So the draft is filled now. We have the 4 spot. I think a really interesting question is like, how are we feeling about the Breece and Bijan grouping of running backs? Because I think that's a decision we'll have at pick 4. Davis, you're putting Nico Collins and Blake Neighbors in the queue. I almost like those guys better than Bijan and Breece now, which is like not something I thought I would say even a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
So the deal
with Breece should not have happened.
Here's the deal, dude. The cope of Braelon Allen doesn't matter. It's just touches that we're going to go to shitty wide receiver anyways. They're just a really run heavy team. I think that thesis is dead. I think Braelon is now officially a big thorn in the side.
I agree. I think Braelon's a thorn, and he yesterday they were running he was running better than Breece, and Braelon gets to it, right? He hits the hole. He's big. He's hard to bring down.
He's really high-end Jeremy Hill. Remember Jeremy Hill for the Bengals?
I think James Conner is kind of
James Conner. Very good.
He just gets right up. The run starts right away. Breece sometimes is he's a home run hitter. Yeah, he dances a little bit more. He's wait. So what are we?
I think Nico.
I'll go Nico here.
I think Nico. I do my rest of the season ranks on Wednesday. I mean, I think I'm probably going to have him 103. I think I'm going to have Jefferson, Barkley. No, 104. This is where I'll have him. I'm right after CD, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you can definitely put like Neighbors and Chase in the same tier, Sam. Like I don't really have any problem like how you want to order those top 5, but I think Nico
Neighbors with the concussion, you should at least have him behind Chase.
I think the same Neighbors concern that existed before where he might end up playing half the season with Drew Lock is still there. And Nico doesn't have any of that. Nico is in the same category as him in targets per route run, yards per route run, percentage of team targets, all that stuff. But he's got CJ Stroud throwing to him.
Yeah, it's just touchdowns, man. Like Nico's going to smoke Neighbors on any reasonable touchdown projection the rest of the season. So that's where I would tie break. But obviously, Neighbors going at 106 here. That's completely justifiable in my opinion. He's been a smash pick where he went.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like just to close the loop on the Breece and Braelon conversation, I think it's closer to like a David Montgomery Gibbs situation than I ever thought was possible at the beginning of the season. Now, obviously Gibbs like still can smash with David Montgomery, and I still think Breece can smash with Braelon Allen, but it's like a legitimately good second running back playing alongside him that deserves playing time. And I think
it's not quite that level of of split, but I get what you're saying. It's like
just as a
so
comparison.
Breece got 2 goal line carries early in the game, but then on third down, Allen came in and they faked it to him. And then on fourth down, he was also in. I forget what they did, but it didn't work. He didn't get a carry though. But it's still frustrating to see him Breece not on the field in that situation. And then Allen just seemed, as the game went on, to be getting more run. And I think especially in a game like that where they were just struggling for offense, not having the consistency in the running game is going to be frustrating to them. And Allen is going to consistently provide consistency, I think. Whereas Breece Hall, he had a higher success rate than Allen heading into that game. But last year he didn't have a very good success rate. As a rookie, it was pretty solid. But he is, I think, more of a boom bust runner. But he does provide a boom. And in most cases, I think teams are going to just make that deal. But if they have a guy like Braelon Allen, it can be tempting to be like, well, why don't we just put the guy in who we know is going to get like a yard more than we expect every time. Maybe he's not going to have as many home runs.
Well, it's the classic thing. You already saw the coaches say it afterward. They're like the beats asked like, oh, is there thought about using Braelon more in those short yard situations? And Saleh was like, yeah, he's 240 pounds. Like we're probably going to start doing that, you know?
Yeah. It seems to be moving the wrong direction. And then, like, there's also a play, it just stuck in my mind, where Breece went out. I didn't actually see the route, see how open he was, but Breece, it looked like the first read on the play. Rodgers looks to him, looks off of it, takes a sack. They're just like, this is just going to be a frustrating offense. Like, just throw him the ball, Rodgers. But, you know, he had a ball. Breece dropped a ball in the game where it looked like maybe he didn't want to, Rodgers kind of laid him out to take a huge hit, and Breece dropped the ball. He did make a nice catch earlier in the game, but it's just, I thought, like, you know, him getting peppered with targets looked pretty good a couple weeks ago. I'm
not writing Breece Hall's obituary in any way, shape, or form, but I do think, like, it's so funny. I did a couple of these last week, and like the entire first round was running backs because people are like, oh, only running backs score points. You know, obviously we're seeing the pendulum swift a little bit. The Rashee Rice auto drafter, you do hate to see it.
Yeah, that is tough. Well, his ACL isn't officially torn yet, so maybe he's a late season leverage play.
Can you imagine the all-time life that would come back into my eyes if they actually said, it turns out it's just really swollen. He's going on the IR, but we think he's going to be back by week 10. That would be
amazing. I highly doubt.
I mean, it's not happening. It's definitely not happening, but just think of how happy you were just pondering it as even a possibility.
I was just quite happy there.
I kind of like Metcalf there. I like Olave.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
The other thing is, what about Jordan Mason? If we are all on board, which I think
I think McCaffrey comes back. I think it's too early for Mason.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey does come back. That was the latest reporting, is that he's likely to come back in like week 12-ish range or something. So yeah, I don't know. Feels a little early for Mason. The really minor strategy note, I don't think this is like huge, but teams that have week 5 buys, I think, do get a
boosted.
Decent advance rate boost here, because that's the one week where you wouldn't have to deal with the bye weeks in this tournament. So that's the Lions.
Chargers. Right. So I wasn't. So when does it start? Because I mentioned the neighbor's concussion, but I guess
it starts week 6.
Week 6.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good for neighbors.
So Lions, Chargers, Eagles, Titans, you all get a boost on those players. So Devonta Smith, if he comes back around, I think is interesting in this range anyways, and maybe gets a slight boost there, but we can see who's available.
I've actually probably Debo is who we should have taken there. I don't know. I wasn't locked in. That's on me.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
So there is this other really interesting thing is now that we've seen all these players play for a month, they're all bad picks. Like literally you're through 24 you're through 24 players and you're like, well, I don't want that guy on my fantasy team. I'm starting him on my fantasy team right now and he sucks. Like it is this really interesting. It's so different than drafting Best Ball Mania where
There's no hope left.
Yes,
Yeah.
in Best Ball Mania, you're hopeful about every pick you make. And now you're like, James Cook, like, buddy, I watched the Bills play last night. The Bills stink. Like, it is so funny.
Yeah.
James Cook is probably the closer
liked
example.
there.
What we're talking about with Breece is the role that we've seen for James Cook this year. It's probably closer to where he's going to, I still think, have some really big games, but he's also just going to like flop sometimes where like when you're taking a guy in the first round, you really don't want the running back to have that kind of that low of a floor.
What do you guys think about Jacobs goes? I was going to throw out Jacobs or Mixon here. I haven't done enough of these to know how gross it gets at running back.
It insanely bad. I've done two and it's insanely bad. Like Mixon or Connor Montgomery or Mason, I think is who I would do.
Let's do Smith. I like this week 5 bye move.
Okay.
We get the extra week.
All right. I just want you to know that our running backs are going to be like best case scenario. We get like J.K. Dobbins.
Great. Brian Robinson looks great.
Brian Robinson does look great. That's fine. I mean, it's fine with me.
It's fine. Yeah, we'll be all right. I do think Mixon is like, if Mixon just didn't get hurt, I think he's going in the same range as like Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, potentially, with how good his workload looked through a couple weeks. But obviously, you got to factor in this high ankle sprain. Who knows how he'll play coming back from it?
He didn't play that well before it. I mean, I think it was like one of these weird things where he had like a good yards per carry, but he hit like 5 yards on every carry. He never had a run longer than 5 yards, which, I mean, I guess you could paint as a good thing, but I generally want my running back to be somewhat explosive.
What do you guys think about Hunter Lupke in this format?
Oh my God.
I mean, he's going to lead the Cowboys in snaps every week.
He is. What's the functional difference between Hunter Lupke and Carson Steele, other than that the team like actually does designate him as a fullback?
That you would be interested in playing Lupke, I think, is the difference.
Yeah, Carson Steele. I've got this bet versus Peter, this Carson Steele versus Cam Akers bet, and we're both dead now. Like Akers has been the worst running back in the NFL in his 2 starts, but Steele is also it's Jover, dude.
Well, Steele, it's not fair to say he's been a bad running back since he's a fullback.
The fumbles are really what killed Steele. They're not throwing an undrafted rookie free agent that's fumbled in 2 of the last 3 games.
It is crazy. Andy Reid comes out and says, he gives you an honest down and then he fumbles. Really bad. Yeah. I mean, Kareem Hunt, you want to talk about having a wrong read on the waiver wire? I was like, I could not have been less interested in Kareem Hunt. And it's gonna be a lot of Kareem Hunt. Like as much
Kareem Hunt's the starting running back, right?
Yeah.
Does it? I'm still skeptical that he holds that. Or obviously, I'd prefer Hunt over the other guys right now if I could re-choose. But you're gonna have CEH coming back in the next couple weeks.
Come on, man. CEH, that's not gonna do anything.
That I honestly think it might.
It won't.
I think they prefer
CEH hasn't done. I mean, CEH was a complete afterthought last year.
Yeah, so was Kareem Hunt. He wasn't on a team.
Honestly, he wasn't. Kareem Hunt got run last year.
Sure.
If Run is getting benched by Pierre Strong in the last 4 weeks of the season, then I guess. But
yeah, compared to CH, that is Run.
People
that
keep
is
saying
pretty good.
People keep saying CH is going to come back because of like one offhanded comment from Mike Tirico. I've not seen anything official on CH coming back off the designated for return IR.
Kareem Hunt had 135 carries last season. Has CH gotten that in like the last 3 years?
I'm sure he had 135 last year.
Let's see.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Pro Football Reference. Clyde last season
70 carry. No, it's taken him 2 years. He's had 141 carries over 2022 and 2023 combined. So he did a Kareem Hunt in 2 seasons.
The thing that will happen is like Kareem Hunt's not very good. He was second to last in the NFL last year in rush yards over expected. So it might be one of those things where like it's their plan, and he did play very well versus the Chargers. Would not be hard for him to play poorly. Like, in fact, I would expect that to happen.
It would be hard for him not to play poorly.
Yeah. Perine is the one who seems like he's playing the best. Like, Perine has not made any mistakes. He scored the touchdown. He did have the drop in week 1, but other than that, like, he's mostly been pretty fine.
All right, let's see what we're looking at here. Jeez, this is what you're talking about, Davis. It just gets disgusting.
Yeah,
so
I was
quick.
gonna say let's take Jaden Daniels, but he went 13 picks before.
Jalen Hurts is pretty interesting with Devonta.
Yeah,
I'm throwing out the last week's performance from the Eagles. It's just when you have Jahan Dotson and
as
Wilson as your top two wide
vibes-based drafters, I gotta say vibes around the Eagles not strong.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Smith with a concussion, and Brown has been out for weeks. I mean, if we're trying to, be forward thinking,
yeah,
the Eagles could put it together down the stretch.
I wonder if Sirianni gets booted. Sirianni gets booted. Kellen Moore takes over. I'm good with Hurts here though.
Yeah, I think Hurts makes sense again with that week 5 bye thing. You have an extra week.
No, that's it. It's really nice.
Yeah. Did Montgomery go?
Yeah, Montgomery went. Best running back on the board is a guy who's currently in Germany getting experimental stem cell therapy on his Achilles tendonitis.
Actually, McCaffrey would be a pretty good pick.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know. It feels like such a just guess. On
The injury guys are pretty pro McCaffrey.
It's just hard to say because, like, who knows when every little bit of information we've gotten from them has been a lie. Oh, he'd have played if it was a playoff game. He practiced, and it was just all lies, dude.
I also just wonder, do they have? Okay, he goes anyways, but do they have any incentive in giving him a big workload with how Mason is playing right now? It just seems strange that they would. I mean, they always have done it whenever he's healthy, so it's tough to say, oh, they wouldn't do it, but.
No, dude, he's gonna
good.
He's gonna get the.
It's
ball.
a Kyren Williams thing, man. I think he just feels comfortable when he's out there. Like, remember how much we heard about Kyren Williams getting his workload scaled back, and then it just McVay feels better. He feels like it's like anxiety relief to have Kyren Williams on the field. Like, he's just not gonna not do it. if he is able to do it, he's gonna do it.
It just seems like with the playoffs coming up at that point, if the 49ers are in like a fairly secure point, which who knows, maybe they wouldn't be, and they need every snap of McCaffrey they can get to make the playoffs. But it just seems like I don't get why they would put him in a full workhorse role. But you're right, they definitely could.
I mean, the 49ers are 2-2. They might not have the.
Oh, I thought Kelsey would have been a good pick there. I was going to throw him out. I think Bowers is pretty
cool.
good. Bowers over McBride, we think?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I think I've kind of washed my hands of buying into the Kyler Murray experience. For the first time in my life. It's just maybe it's a scheme thing where like they only look good when there's the threat of the run, but the defense is so bad that they're like automatically down 10 points every game. I think that's the answer to why the Cardinals offense is good in the first quarter and then bad for every other quarter. It's that if the defense could just put 6 defensive backs in and be like, sure, run, you're down 10 points, you're going to lose anyway. That is a hard equation for the offense to solve.
He doesn't throw to the middle of the field. So that's where I think.
See it.
Right. So I think it's kind of it's going to be more of a volatile offense, I guess, because those if you can throw to the middle of the field, some of those easier throws, yards after catch, you kind of have to do a little less. Where like you're having to make like these more sideline throws or like really shallow throws, it's just like harder to consistently move the ball through the air if those are like the main buttons you can push. So I was pretty disappointed with them in this last game. I actually thought the Commanders have been pretty bad on defense, and to just like
I was really discouraged.
Yeah, it was
that
very
was
discouraging.
embarrassing performance. Yeah, they just have a weird team. I think McBride is a huge part of what they want to do over the middle of the field, and without
For
him,
sure.
they don't really have like as good as Marvin Harrison has been. Even in his prospect profile, he was not like a yards after the catch guy. So without McBride, they don't have like a really easy button answer in that part of the field. So
Well, it was Dortch. Dortch was
Dortch.
the only guy.
Yeah.
But you just need like a bigger bodied. No offense to Short King Summer, but it's good to have a guy who's not 5'6" over the middle of the field.
Yeah. And the offensive line stinks. It just, I don't know. It was pretty high on the Cardinals, and it doesn't look like that is going to be correct. It is so funny just like looking at this contest. Like obviously there's just such an overreaction to the scoring that we've seen thus far.
Right.
Like just like the first month of the season, that's exactly how the football is, and that's exactly how it's going to play out. And if you think anything you thought a month ago is still true, you're the biggest idiot in the world.
Right.
So the thing for me is I would rather draft battle royales because battle royale is 30K to first every week. This is 30K to first in week 17.
Right.
If this was 100K to first, I'd be more into really jamming the entries. Yeah, it's like a time resource thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, the first few weeks have shown us the power of being able to forget and move on. And this is one you got to think about the rest of the season.
So true. Damn, Worthy goes. I was hoping he'd be kind of hidden.
Yeah. McConkey is a guy. We'll probably get stuff on him here, but that's a team that has a week 5 bye. I think he's looked pretty good. Shaheed, I'd probably go Shaheed over McConkey though.
I wouldn't.
Not if we have Olave.
Yeah. I
just think the pass volume in New Orleans.
It is so condensed. It's so.
The other guy's Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks, I think is. Well, what about Moss or Chase Brown? Because Kerrane, I'm a little worried that Hubbard has been so good that Brooks.
He hasn't been that good. He's been good, but I'm
down to take a running back here if it's close because we probably need some upside at the position.
Yeah, let's see
I do share that concern, Davis. I think it's going to be like week 7, 8, 9. We're like, oh shit, it's like 60-40 Chuba Hubbard. This is really frustrating.
Right.
But I still think by end of the season,
Brooks, by week 13 or whatever.
Hubbard actually has been pretty good.
It'll be interesting to see if Mark Andrews even gets drafted in this.
I mean, Andrews has to be like
should he?
Tight end. He should be like a 16th round pick.
I don't even
like not even trying to do a bit. Like I don't.
Yeah, there's nothing in his profile. He's been sub Tyler Conklin level.
Yeah.
Baltimore, I think with pass catchers in general, it's just like every game could be 12 pass attempts from Lamar, and 6 of them are going to Justice Hill for some reason. So good luck.
Oh, I would straight up take Tucker Kraft over Mark Andrews rest of the season. Not even close.
Yeah, Cole Kmet easily, Hunter Henry easily. It's bad.
Yeah, I think that the thing about the type of the Mark Andrews conversation is really about the like low payoff versus like just like not taking on the risk. Because Mark Andrews basically has no floor now. Like he's almost like he hasn't been startable like once. So you should really, from that perspective, you should take everybody ahead of him. I do think, given that he has shown a ceiling over multiple seasons, maybe it's related to the ankle, maybe it's related to the car crash. I don't know.
It's got to be the tightrope, right?
Yeah.
But does he come back from it, or is he just never the same? I think McConkey's pretty interesting. McConkey's been good, man. He's going to be like the clear number 1 by the end of the year. He looks really good.
Number 1 right now.
Yeah, that's true.
He looks good.
Yeah,
I really like the other 2 guys. I really like here, not for our build because we already have a tight end, but George Kittle still being available here seems kind of silly to me. I don't know what you guys think on that. Like, I would take him over Goddard and Laporta.
Sure. Yeah. Although Laporta, it's so funny. We get all this evidence. Like Laporta could smash tonight.
Right. Yeah, Laporta should not be one of the tight ends for panic. Like it's full on panic for Mark Andrews. It's like pretty big panic on Pitts and like mild panic on Kincaid.
It's only panic. It's only panic on Pitts if you're just completely unwilling to be objective about reality. Like there's no reason to panic on Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a zero.
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts is not a part of his team's plan. He's not good enough to earn targets. The team has no sunk cost fallacy with him of like, oh, we have to get Kyle Pitts the ball because 4 years ago, someone who's not even in this building anymore selected him. What was it? 8th overall? I don't even remember.
Fourth overall.
Fourth overall. Sure.
Before Jahmyr
Now
Chase.
you might be saying, Davis, that's insane. A tight end going that high, like how could that guy be absolutely nothing? Why don't you learn Eric Ebron, buddy? Eric Ebron went 10th overall in the NFL draft. These were his stat lines. I mean, Kyle Pitts would absolutely love to have a 5-touchdown season. It would absolutely blow his mind. Eric Ebron never topped 61 receptions, never topped 711 yards after being the 10th overall pick. His team was willing to admit he couldn't play. Kyle Pitts can't play. Kyle Pitts isn't going to get the ball. Best case scenario, if you're a Kyle Pitts bag defender, is that he ends up being a second contract guy, that he goes to Dallas, he goes to Kansas City, he goes somewhere where they want to use him and what he can do on the field, but is never happening as a member of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The Andrews thing, if you're gonna, I think at this point, I mean, the bull cases are obviously extremely, extremely thin now. But I think the case would be he's out there on the field still a decent amount. He's blocking a lot. Maybe he got turned into like a Dallas Goedert or a George Kittle or one of these guys who's like still adding some real life value, but it's not through the receiving game. And he's going to provide some ceiling this season, which we haven't seen any evidence of so far, but just based on the fact that he has been a really strong receiver over the years, maybe he spikes once or twice all year, but given that it's tight end, maybe that's still something. Pitts, I guess Pitts, you would make a similar case of like it's possible he spikes because he's got a deep ADOT, but obviously both these guys.
So literally that is literally, if you have a bunch of Kyle Pitts bags, that is your out. Your out is that he just somehow finds a way to catch 3 deep bombs the rest of the year,
right?
In the same way that like Tutu Atwell could catch 3 deep bombs the rest of the. He's got a similar. Right. Actually, he's got a worse target profile now.
Much worse.
To me, like the thesis behind Pitts now is like the thesis behind Luke Musgrave going into the season this year. Like he's a fast straight line athlete. He can catch a seam pass and take it to the house on occasion, and that can be valuable.
That's fair.
11th,
what we thought round. Luke Musgrave was, yeah.
Like because that's the thing with Pitts. Like watching him, his straight line speed is fine, and you saw the big 50-yard catch 2 weeks ago. Like he can, if he is open in a straight line, he could run. But he just can't change directions or like run routes. Like I don't know. Like he's just not that effective of a receiver aside from kind of running in a straight line. What are we looking at here in terms of running back and wide receiver? Najee, dust.
This is who we should take.
Is Moss around too? No, I'm not saying I prefer Moss, but I'm just curious. Okay.
I think Braelon Allen or Chase Brown is our pick here.
I don't have any pushback on Chase Brown here. Can we see the wide receivers quickly?
Yeah, it's dark, dude.
Yeah, I think one of these 2 running backs are good.
Well, actually, Leggett or Wicks.
Wicks is pretty damn.
Because
do we try to push him around? Should we try to get Brown first?
I think we should try and push him around. Yeah, Wicks is. I mean, that should have been like in an alternate reality. This would have been the Dontayvion Wicks show. But
yeah, I don't care if we get sniped on him. We're just doing one of these drafts. Like Dontayvion, he has to be the biggest winner from last week by far because it looks like Watson's probably going on IR now.
13 targets.
Yeah. His targets per route run this season has been insane. It's like top 10 in the NFL, I think close to 30%. like everything we said about him was true. It's just like he's not running enough routes to be reliable in fantasy. But if one of these top guys gets
he
injured,
also
he's gonna be
does
a
keep
smash.
dropping. He just keeps dropping these passes. He had a really bad drop in the first half. That it was on 4th and 10, and it would have made it 21-7, and that game maybe would have not gone as sideways as it did. But like the thing you really like to see is the coach didn't respond by benching him for Bo Melton.
Right.
He said, "Nah, this dude just gets open. Like, we got to win this game," which is like, that's so telling too, that they were in the foxhole. And he was not like, all right, I'm going to make a point to bench this guy for a couple bad mental reps or whatever. He's like, no, I actually would like to win this game, so I'm going to keep playing him. It's pretty telling.
LaFleur is one of the sharpest coaches too. I mean, I think you want to be invested in his offense.
Oh yeah, you want Packers for sure. Even like I think Dobbs should go. Maybe not quite this early, but pretty close to this. Yeah.
Yes, it's hard for me to ever get excited about Dobbs because he's just he's such the Michael Gallup of that offense. That,
he did nothing in that game yesterday.
Yeah,
just not like Jordan Love threw. I think he dropped back 55 times, I believe. Just nothing on the bone for Dobbs.
Anthony Richardson.
He wears 87.
Years, kind of crazy.
That's a tight end number. He
no,
looks like
87. 87. It's such reflective of his game. That's such a 1989, boundary wide receiver number.
He's just he's James Jones. Come on, let's be honest.
No, James Jones was actually pretty good.
Right,
I feel like James Jones was the same thing as Romeo Dobbs. He just caught.
No, James Jones had his moment, man.
No, yeah, James Jones wore a hoodie. He kind of had some aesthetic appeal.
James Jones was like,
he had
honestly
appeal.
the Wicks.
I'm not arguing that. Yeah.
Jones was
the Wicks. Yeah.
What? James Jones played 10 years and never had more than 820 receiving yards in the season.
Well, get ready to learn Dontayvion Wicks, buddy.
Yeah.
No, Wicks. Wicks. I'm already putting Wicks in the MVP Hall of Fame conversation.
This is the funniest thing about James Jones. He left to go get money from Oakland for 1 year, sucked ass, went down to 5.9 yards per target after being over 9 yards per target his whole career, and then comes back to Green Bay for a season, absolutely smashes, and then just calls it quits. He's like, all right, I'm good.
He's Alan Lazard. He's the original Alan Lazard.
He is the original Alan Lazard. That's so true. Yeah.
But I mean, 14 touchdowns in 2012. Like he was much closer to the Wicks in my opinion. Like he wasn't always getting targeted, but it's like he had the upside because of
who's a good Dobbs corollary in the history.
Gallup. To me, he's Michael Gallup. He runs all the
routes. It's got to be a Packers guy.
It's got to be a Packers.
Guy.
I'm trying to think of a good Dobbs. Honestly, the thing is they've never had this many talented wide receivers. The role he fulfills, obviously he is not this caliber of player, but the role he fulfills is the Greg Jennings role, where it's just like super reliable, super dependable, always play on the outside. Now, obviously, the kids don't know this. Greg Jennings was unreal.
He was awesome, though.
He was awesome. Yeah, he was really, really great. Man, I love to remember that guy. This is the only thing that's bringing Donald Driver. 35-year-old Donald Driver is a pretty good comp.
Donald Driver is pretty close to what he is. But I think
Driver was way better than James Jones.
Yeah. Well, he was.
Dude, Donald Driver, bro. Unreal.
Yeah.
The issue is that all these players are too good to be Dobbs.
I'm sticking with I think my James Jones was the best comparison. Let's move on here to Anthony Richardson going 104 behind Sam Darnold. Seems like a little bit of an overreaction. What are you guys' thoughts on this Colts stuff quickly?
It's going to end up being the most tilting situation in fantasy because you're never going to know who's going to finish the game. Like Richardson might start the rest of the way, but how many games? Like if I set the line at 3.5 games finished with Joe Flacco, you take an over or under? Over. He's so look, I like Anthony Richardson and I hope he's not listening, but he is so stupid. He gets the hit pointer. The coach calls an RPO. Fine. Do what you got to do. And then he just slides at the last second when Minkah Fitzpatrick is already in the air. What is the point, dude? You're actively trying to get concussed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he is not protecting himself at all.
I wanted to get
Braelon is still here.
Braelon's pretty good.
I would go Braelon here.
Okay, the chat is saying blame the coach. You're blaming the coach for calling a good play? Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
That's on.
I mean, I
on him.
actually do kind of blame Steichen. You get he's clearly ailing, and you come in and you call an RPO the first play, like call a handoff, like you know what I mean, like or just leave Flacco in for the rest of the series, and then like make sure he can actually run.
That I mean, honestly, yeah, that's the answer. Is you got to just leave Flacco in for the rest of the drive.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is what I meant.
Is Pacheco just like discount CMC?
No, he's a
straight
zero.
Really?
Pacheco has the injury that Mark Andrews is a year recovered from, and we said he's dead.
Okay.
I wouldn't take Isaiah Pacheco in the 18th round.
I think I'd be interested. I'm not saying he's a good pick here, but reporting is that he has a chance to come back like in a month, right?
I am fading that idea hard. Yeah.
In terms of these running backs, I like kind of like Eckler based on what Washington has shown and how they've involved the running backs. I think he's like pretty interesting in the 120s.
Aren't you worried about McNichols?
The classic year 8 breakout for Jeremy
McNichols looks good, man. I've always liked Jeremy McNichols. I thought McNichols was going to be awesome when he came out.
And then he got cut. He got cut before they even played it down.
He was
got drafted in the 5th round and then cut by the Bucs.
Immediate L.
Yeah. He was
Mark
Ashton
Andrews
Jeanty. No, he was Ashton Jeanty before Ashton Jeanty.
Dude, I guess we don't really need Dobbs, but I just think I just like getting Packers.
Kerrane, you're looking to add on to those Jalen Warren bags?
I'm never going to.
We gotta go Eckler over Jalen Warren at running back, don't we?
I think actually Najee being the worst running back in the NFL last week
might be a sneaky good run out for Warren.
Like Warren missing a week and then just having to watch Najee Harris play a whole game. Doesn't that seem very bullish for him?
Yeah. What about Ingram?
Ingram
or Kmet. We like Ingram over Kmet.
I do.
Yeah, because Pederson's gonna get fired, and the offense should open up a little bit. Well, who would get promoted? What's Freddie Kitchens doing?
I don't even. Yeah, God, they don't even have like a clear second in command there, do they?
Well,
aren't they like splitting the roles somehow?
Brian Schottenheimer is the OC.
Oh no, wasn't he working for Urban Meyer?
No, I'm wrong.
Who was working for Urban? Okay.
I just lied. Okay. Do you want to know? We actually did this the other day on my show. It's Zach Taylor's brother, Press Taylor, is the offensive coordinator.
Oh, that's right. That sounds right.
Oh, I never knew they're related.
And they get this. Here's some ship chasing trivia. They both went to the same high school as my dad in Oklahoma, and it should be very telling that the University of Oklahoma has never wanted to have shit to do with the Taylor brothers. Didn't recruit them to play there. Didn't ever want to hire them to be graduate assistants. That should be warning flags everywhere. For
so Schottenheimer was one of the coaches under Urban Meyer. Remember Schottenheimer like immediately got thrown under the bus. Like Urban Meyer was like these idiot coaches like don't know what to do, but it was only because like Urban Meyer expected to like not have to do anything because he's just like completely mailed in an NFL head coaching job. I was like, if Schottenheimer, was able to go like somehow work his way back into this team, that would be.
I'm wrong anyway. Brian Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys.
He is.
He is.
Yeah, because remember last year everyone was so worried about their pass rate because they were using like the Schottenheimer splits with the Seahawks, and they're like, "Oh, Schottenheimer's going to establish the run." Blah 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 blah.
They did try and establish the run, and then they got 6 weeks into the season, and they realized it wasn't.
They gave up.
Going to work. By the way, I do have some breaking news per Spotrac. The Browns converted all of Amari Cooper's 2024 salary into a signing bonus, which makes him an extremely affordable trade candidate. So that would basically be they trade for Cooper this year, and then they have to immediately get out of his contract this offseason. But that, that's like basically like, okay, Veach, that's your problem tomorrow.
He would make sense.
He
Cooper
also
is so
looks
good.
like he's like sleepwalking on the field this year. Like he's had some really weird drops and stuff that I could see them being kind of sick of. I don't know if there's something going on with him, like mentally or whatever. He's had some.
Yeah, I think
issues and
what's
stuff
going
in the
on.
past.
Yeah, I
That's
think what's
what's going
going on is that he hates being on the worst football team in the AFC.
Davis,
Yeah.
he's a UFA. He's an undrafted free agent next year.
Unrestricted free
Or
agent.
unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, unrestricted free agent. So they don't have to do anything. If you by converting into a signing bonus, doesn't that mean the Browns are on the hook for it?
Yes. Because the Brown, I think what this report is saying is the Browns are just they're just trying to get anything they can.
They're trading
yeah.
Cooper. Is what this report
Yeah.
means.
It could be a sign they want to trade Cooper. Yeah.
Which
Judy at pick 130 or whatever could be smart if that's actually happening.
I just like, dude, Sam, you keep tweeting this stuff about like, oh, the Browns, like they need to be done with the charade. I mean, we're past, we've crossed the Rubicon. What more do they need to see to bench this guy?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The problem that Watson provides is that like he's too bad to play. It's not about like the contract or the future or anything. It's like this dude just is too bad. Like he's the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. Like you just can't justify playing him. So like I don't know. Like I just didn't see him being the literal worst quarterback in the league once.
I think we should take Kareem Hunt.
I would go with
a little early.
Yeah. What about like Ty Chandler, like someone like that?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I just think he's like a underrated handcuff at this point with how good Minnesota looks and how much they're using Aaron Jones.
It was so funny. Yesterday, they like completely reverted their whole splits to try and get Aaron Jones a touchdown. Like he played like 85% of the snaps or something, and he still didn't score.
Yeah,
dude, I had him in a couple of DFS lineups. I'm aware it was pretty brutal because they kept trying to get him the ball.
He had 4 straight cracks from like the 1 yard line or whatever, the 3 yard line. Didn't get it.
Do we think, just in terms of this team, do we think about Derek Carr the next pick just to get another high upside stack? Yeah. Also correlated with Brock Bowers.
I wanted to take Andy Dalton, but yeah.
But do we have? I guess
we have Olave and Bowers. So,
what would you guys make the odds that Bryce Young gets traded?
Pretty low. They're gonna pretend that they're developing him now.
Remember Josh Rosen? They immediately gave up on him. He got traded immediately.
I think it's different though because he was the number 1 overall pick that they traded up for. So like, as far as like,
Rosen was the 3rd pick, 4th pick.
No, he was like in the teens. He was in the early teens, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was close to like pick 10.
10.
My memory.
10 overall in the 2018 draft, and he got traded in the offseason to Miami.
That's a pretty big difference as far as saving face goes. Plus, they got the number 1 pick the following year.
Yeah, they knew they were getting Kyler.
I mean, it's more comparable to Trey Lance, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is.
Bad. Yeah, it's more comparable to Trey Lance.
Yeah, but this is year 2.
Sorry, I think Rosen and Lance are kind of similar. I don't think Lance is. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But it was year 3 of Lance, right? Because he was kind of benched his rookie year for Jimmy G. Second year got injured, and then it was year 3.
And they found Purdy.
Yeah,
I think that's the other big thing.
I'd go Carr here just for the correlation on this team. Yeah,
like Dalton is not something they found. Dalton is a competent backup, but like the team can't be built. Like they're building a team around Brock Purdy. They go to the Super Bowl. Like it's just a very different situation with like what the future looks like. I think. For now, with the owner being who he is, it's basically like, how do we save face? And you save face by letting Bryce Young learn. Obviously, he's done, but you're letting him learn.
He's so done. No, you could argue no one's ever been more done.
Yeah. I think what you need, honestly, is you need like Snoop Huntley to completely shit the bed tonight. And then Mike McDaniel is desperate enough to trade like a 3rd or 4th round pick for him. That's like the one scenario.
That's not who he is. I think that Young is almost, I think Young would be like the worst fit for.
No, I disagree with this. I think the only thing he can do is point and click. I think the only thing.
He can't point and click. He's the worst point and clicker I've ever seen. His time to throw was super long. He was throwing downfield. He's like Kyler. but he can't scramble.
Yeah.
What if Kyler?
But I think
couldn't run?
McDaniel could simplify.
And his
I think
arm is worse.
the argument for Davis maybe is that McDaniel could simplify things, and like Tua does not have to do a lot of complex things with how McDaniel schemes up the offense. So I think that's the argument. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work by any means, but I have heard
that is
make
more
that
what I'm
argument.
saying. I'm not saying Kerrane. I'm not saying that I think he's been a good point and click guy to this point in his career, but I'm saying that if anyone is going to be able to turn him into a point and clicker, it would be Mike McDaniel.
Maybe, but like I don't see why McDaniel would try to do that. Like I was listening to Ollie Connolly on Mina Kimes podcast before the season, and he was pretty pessimistic actually about Bryce Young's fit with Dave Canales, because he was like, I think what you need to do is like basically play like spread, like get this guy a ton of weapons on the field and like let him kind of like make plays. He's not really a great fit for like what they did with Baker Mayfield with like kind of condensed decision
simplifying
making.
Everything.
Like that's not who he is. And obviously it was a disaster. So I don't know. I think
Jalen Tolbert there is a really good pick. That guy knows ball.
I just think Young is a bust, because basically you need to like put the whole offense on his shoulders and like let him go out there and like make plays, but he's been terrible at doing that. So like, why would you ever do that?
I've been working on this Galaxy brain take that, I'm going to send to zero, but it's like, I almost kind of prefer my quarterback prospects to be like Drake May, or to be like, to not play at Texas or Alabama or Georgia or whatever. Like, I want to see that dude play with a guy who's going to be selling insurance and with like kind of a suspect offensive line. Just to the list of players that Bryce Young played with. He played at Mater Dei, however you say it, the number one high school in the country. Then he plays at Alabama with like 1 billion first round picks. Like we basically never ever had any chance to prove that he could handle adversity in any way, shape, or form.
Well, but I mean, you also or I think the really low floor is like he operated in that system. We don't need Dalton here because we got the 2.
Yeah.
Whittington, huge undercover winner from yesterday. The people who said he's going to be in the Cooper Cup role, he literally was.
I'm just worried though, like
when in the Cooper Cup role.
When Cup and Nakua come back,
that seems like a low.
You guys are totally the injury bulls today. You're like, injuries, bro. Cup's coming back. Puka's coming back. CMC's coming back.
I would go like
what are the
Ray
receivers
Davis or Emmanuel Wilson. I like Emmanuel Wilson. Polk.
Yeah, I'd do Polk.
We'll play the hits. We'll play the hits.
I agree with you, Davis, from like a redraft like waivers perspective on Whittington, but I mean, Cup and Nakua aren't out for all the reporting is they are coming back. So
right.
I think a big lesson I'm going to learn this year is whatever injury you think it's going to be, that injury is worse than you think it's going to be. Jalen Warren has a hamstring in camp. It's 2 months later and we're still dealing with it.
Yeah. It's funny. Like you think that with all the betting stuff that would have gotten better, but it's gotten significantly worse over the last couple of years. Because
I think teams now are just being way more opaque. I think it's like teams are like, Matt LaFleur's been doing this with Jordan Love. He's like, oh, he's limited. We're not like, we haven't even gotten one thing from LaFleur being like, oh, he feels this way. He feels that. It's just like, oh, he's limited. They were still pretending up until 2 hours before kick yesterday that Malik Willis might start that game against the Vikings.
Yep.
Could we, I think maybe a running back with contingent upside is maybe the play here. Do we want to talk through some of those guys? I think Emmanuel Wilson, God, wow.
Surely the Vidal thing has got to be coming, bro. It's got to be coming. Gus Edwards.
I think Vidal's fun. I like that.
Okay.
What was Gus Edwards' final stat line yesterday? This is good. I don't even know. Final stat line yesterday, 6. So in the last 2 weeks, he has 9 carries for 28 yards. He's going to 0 immediately.
I'm into Vidal.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with Vidal here. I think like Wilson's close. It's the theoretical upside. I understand.
You know what? Wilson is better. Wilson's better right now, I think.
Okay.
Another
that would be my vote.
Another deep lore injury note. You're gonna know this, Sam, doing the waiver wire show. Urendo got 1 rush yesterday. Do you know what he did on his 1 rush?
No, I missed this. He fumble?
He lost a fumble on his one rush yesterday.
God. It's over. Where's Matt Breida? He's coming.
I believe
he's coming up that
I
roster.
believe he is literally on the team.
Tevin Coleman's getting snaps.
Is he
next week.
really?
It's over.
Matt
Anytime
Breida,
a Shanahan
He is.
coaching tree.
Holy shit, he's on.
Anytime a
the team.
Shanahan coaching tree guy needs a running back, it's Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida are on the roster. It doesn't matter what year it is.
Matt
Could be playing-
Breida, it's not even jokes though. He's literally on the roster.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
wild.
not a joke. It's serious. I think Tevin Coleman was on the roster at one point last year.
He was. Oh, sorry, my bad. No, this is wrong. Guarendo got 1 rush for 0 yards, but he fumbled on the kickoff.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the same thing, basically.
Same thing. Yeah.
In
They
terms of
shouldn't have let SEC leading rusher Cody Schrader go.
in
Bad idea.
terms of other super deep like injured guys that I think are flyers at this point, I think both like Pearsall and Estime are interesting under the radar guys that could have. I don't know. We've seen the Juwan Jennings thesis already hit in San Francisco. Like I think that could have been Pearsall if he didn't get shot.
No, Pearsall is a really good pickup because where are we at? Let's Brandon Ayuk stat line. Does Brandon Ayuk have as many yards this season as Jennings did have in that one game? No. The answer is no. He doesn't.
It is frustrating because I took a decent amount of Pearsall. Like I didn't hammer him, but I think I was probably like 10% or something. And I, felt like I don't know how this is going to happen, but football's chaotic, and I'm just going to like bet on this guy. They
It was
took
a
him
good
the first
bet.
round.
It was pretty clearly a good bet.
Yeah, but then it's like for Juwan Jennings to have the biggest game of the season after Pearsall gets shot. Like what's
After
going
Pearsall, Pearsall gets shot trying to make
Oh.
sure that his Rolex doesn't get stolen.
Jesus. That's why you got to play on DraftKings, Kerrane. That's in the 20th round is where you take some Juwan Jennings shares because you're choosing between him.
I actually
and,
do have some Juwan
Trace
Jennings on DraftKings. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do too. I was like, oh, okay. At least I can cope with my 3% Juwan Jennings versus my 13% Ricky Pearsall. God fucking damn it. There, and he goes.
Were
So,
any of our ship chasing buddies big Brandon Ayuk bulls?
I definitely got a lot of Brandon.
I was
Brandon
in on-
Ayuk. I think I had like 10, 11, 12%.
Embarrassing, bro.
But I was a Debo guy. I wasn't like an ideological Ayuk over Debo guy. I was just like, give me the fucking 49ers everywhere, every place. That's
The 49ers starting out 2-2 is like so ideal for all the 49ers bags too. Like it just like they're just are gonna have to try the whole year. It's pretty nut run out. By the way, I mean, look at the end of the drafts. Like this is like, oh, you're doing best ball mania. You're like, dude, I can't wait to take Jalen McMillan. I'm so smart. And now you're like, Jesus Christ, Jalen McMillan is as good as it gets. This is horrible.
God, this is dark.
Yeah.
Where are we
It's
at structurally? 2, 5, 6, 2. We don't really need quarterbacks or tight ends. Not like we couldn't take them.
No, we definitely could. What's Hunter Lupke's ADP? RB80. Hunter Lupke should definitely be drafted more than that.
Is Eric All still floating around here? I need to get one share of Eric All.
He just went, dude.
God damn it.
No, he's there. We got to take him for the bit, right?
The bit is that Sam doesn't have him, so I don't think we should take him.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually funnier if I.
It's
Sam,
way funnier to think about him and then not take him.
Sam, on my stream the other day, someone did take Eric All, and I did inspect element, and I changed the Eric All drafter's name to Sam Sherman.
Thank
you.
you.
And took a screenshot.
I'm gonna need that. Can you send me that screenshot? I need to reply to some tweets. Fuck.
We actually
McCaffrey.
Noah Brown is a very
Dude,
good
what
pick.
about Vidal? We went to a running back. We'll take a 6th running back.
Sure. I was kind of earmarking that pick for Lupke, but
Is thinking of like bring back stuff. Wait, it's Eagles Dallas and Tolbert's gone. Okay, there's nothing then. Trey Tucker's still available?
for sure not. No chance.
He's like a 12th round pick now.
Yeah. He was selected. It doesn't say where. I can look on the board. Yeah, he was a 14th round pick.
Okay.
I love the
14th round pick.
optimism. I love the optimism of the person who's still logging on and taking DeMarcus Robinson. Like everything that would have needed to happen for DeMarcus Robinson, like Puka and Kupp literally died, and he's maxed out at 3 receptions for 42 yards.
Can Kendra Miller, that's actually kind of an interesting one with how the Saints are playing. And Jamal Williams looks like the slowest guy besides Gus Edwards on the NFL football field. So that's not a terrible one. God, we probably need 2 wide receivers to end the draft, don't we?
Sure. I mean, we did this all off season and it served us really well. So I think we should keep hammering. Never give up, never surrender. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I mean, to that point, we could also take Drake May.
We could take doo-doo shit poopster. I mean, who projects for more points in this range of the draft than doo-doo?
I mean, once they trade for Cooper, though, it's over.
It's true. Damn. Imagine you wake up tomorrow for the notification that the Chiefs traded Amari Cooper, and then you realize that you spent all offseason.
My Juju bags!
No, dude,
No,
you faded.
We got sniped on Juju.
Oh, no, wow.
I faded Cooper because he was going next to Worthy and Hollywood all summer.
Right.
Who are these guys? Who's the guys in our queue right now? Eric All, Hunter Lepke, and Noah Brown? What's going on, dude?
You know who's Ray McLeod is like
Honestly,
a
he's a
legit.
good pick, dude.
He's like a straight up 90% route share guy.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pick.
Which really tilts me because that should have been Rondale. We should be in the midst. We should be in the midst of a Rondale assance, and we're not, which is really sad.
Should we though? He lost that job to Ray
No,
McClellan.
no, I'm not buying it. I'm not
No?
buying it, dude.
Which field did he get hurt on? Remember, it was you had to go down 8 levels below the earth just to find the field that he got hurt on.
That's
do
one
you
of
think
the-
that's where the starters play, or are they in the sun? Which field do you think they're on?
That is one of the funniest bits that didn't get picked up. Is that like we were making these jokes on ADP chasing that like he literally got injured like with the third stringers, like playing with Felipe Franks.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that? he had been demoted.
I think if May is still available, even though we have Hurts and Carr, he's got to be a pretty decent pick, right? I'm just telling myself that because I have so much of him in regular best ball.
I mean, the Jacoby Brissett look. I mean, it's frustrating. They're going to probably start him again next week, but like you're already seeing, like Bill Simmons flipped. Okay, we got Bill Simmons. He's
the legacy media in New England is starting to flip. Like WEEI is starting to flip.
Yeah. They're all like this plan doesn't really make sense. And the whole thing was, the beginning of their schedule is really difficult and they should probably let Brissett handle that. But the later we get, like
if he doesn't play week 6 versus the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's over. Someone in the chat just pointed out that I'm only advancing 10 teams in Best Ball Mania right now, and half of those have Rashee Rice. So like it can get worse. Like the thing about me having this bad season is like it's like actually gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse, yeah.
Stick. Maybe I will max best ball. Maybe I will max best ball resurrection.
We need to go running back
next week. They play the Dolphins next week.
That's right, because I, of course, need a Drake May to start in my team's bye week 6 to cover Mahomes' bye.
Right.
Classic.
I was going to say, if we want to go running back here, Tyrone Tracy seems pretty good.
Well, I'm definitely taking Hunter Lepke over Tyrone Tracy, but Malik Washington.
No, come on. That guy's
Chiefs.
So for that guy.
New Chiefs wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt.
I think they would trade for Slayton before Hyatt.
Slayton would love to get traded. He would love
to get traded, yeah.
We got Troy Franklin going after Chester Rogers and Kai Loxley.
That's great. That's awesome.
Troy Franklin, not the worst pick on the board.
I didn't see it. Did he run routes yesterday?
He got like 5 targets on like 9 routes or something crazy. 2
Great.
catches for -2 yards.
I would take
Trey Sermon or Estime.
Oh, Trey Sermon, sure.
Yeah. I vote Franklin for structure. We probably want the 8th receiver, but structure and previous bags. Did May go, by the way?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Eric All goes.
Guys,
Can we,
hit him with the gritty. Hit him with the gritty is like going to lead the field in advance rate this year. He only took quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks haven't gotten injured yet. Turns out, just like taking zeros is worse than having bad structure.
Little Jordan Humphrey gets drafted? What's the point of
think
that?
He ran a shit ton of rounds. That's where we're at, man. That's where we're at in this economy.
Ooh. Okay. Well, once this last pick happens, we can review the team here. I think these are tough. I think my takeaway from doing one of these is I would look to get a running back early, just structurally. I think I found more values at wide receiver than running back late, but where we were picking from, I don't regret going Nico over those running backs. It just seems like tougher to make it work structurally, but that's just my gut reaction. I don't know what you guys thought, if that's your first time doing these.
My thought on these is that they're definitely beatable. You definitely can be better than the field if you do it in a thoughtful way. There's a lot of pretty obvious bad picks happening because people are overreacting, like James Conner being a 3rd-round pick, Joe Mixon going at 32 ahead of Stephon Diggs or Drake London or Jaden Reed. Like, people are very much overreacting based on what they've seen, but it's hard for me to tell if it's worth your time based on the insane amount of variance and the most you like. Part of the deal with why we grind so hard in the offseason is we can draft 1,000 teams and give ourselves a lot of different opportunities in different contests. And you can't do that in this. Like, you literally just draft 150 teams based on the information you have right now. So, like, I'll keep doing these, and it's good for content. Like, it's really good content.
Yeah.
Because it's like easier to talk about what players have done in the context of Best Ball Mania. Like, there's something about just like looking at the screen, you're like, oh, this guy should go here. That guy should go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these are fun to like, just in terms of figuring out who you're above and below market on, because it's really easy when you're doing content this offseason to be like, oh yeah, I want to buy high on J.K. Dobbins or whatever, and then you see where he goes and he's like a 3rd or 4th round pick, and you're like, oh, do I actually want to buy high on him at this price? So I think just in terms of, maybe this is like too niche of a point for content creators, but it is fun doing these drafts just to get a sense of like, where's the actual market at on these guys at this point, and maybe that can recalibrate your expectations for trades and things like that in your seasonal leagues. But yeah, I think they're fun to do. I don't think I'll ever be someone who like tries to max these contests, but I find them really fun and interesting to do. Kerrane, any last takeaways on doing these structure you would want to do in these type of drafts? Initial gut reaction.
Well, it is fun. Nothing on the structure and stuff, but I just think it is interesting to do these, especially like if you're having the type of season I am, where your best takes have gotten hurt, and some of your other big stands were just not good takes. You get in here and you're like, oh, all of these players are bad picks. It's like they're really not very many good picks at all. So
yeah, like literally you get past what Debo and you're like, every consecutive pick is now bad.
Yeah. So it's somewhat, I think it's somewhat healing to get in there and just see like, maybe that guy who's had it's best ball therapy a little bit. Kelsey, right? I took a bunch of Kelsey in the late 3rd, early 4th. Where did he go in here?
I think he went in the 5th. First tight end off the board.
First tight end off the board in the 5th. That feels okay. I mean, part of it's related to Rice tearing his ACL, which sucks, but there's some takes where you're like, man, that pick feels so gross. Laporta, he went in the 7th or something. You lost some value, but like, there's just not that many players that are like fun clicks.
I agree with that.
There's like none that are fun clicks almost.
I thought
that's
Jonathan
what
Brooks
happens.
was kind of fun.
That's the funny thing that happens every year. And yeah. We've touched on this, but every year the offseason is so fun because there's so much hope. Then you flip over the cards and there's like 15 players that are difference makers in fantasy, 20 other ones that are like reliable contributors, and then everyone else sucks. That's the game you play. Yeah. It's something you got to used to every year.
And some of it too, like, Barkley going 101, obviously, I was out on him in the 2nd round, which wish I didn't do that. But like, I think that's probably going to age poorly too. Like this stuff that we're doing now, I think these drafts might look as silly as the summer drafts, but just in a different way by the time we get to the end of the year. We still don't know that much.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll close things out for today. We'll be back next week. Not sure what we're going to do on these going forward. We might do more of these drafts. We might do more of the victory lapping bag defending. I think we got to adjust the show as we go throughout the year. The whole format doesn't always make as much sense in week 6, but we'll figure something out. If you guys like these drafts, let us know in the comments. Anyways, for me, quickly, same thing as always. Got a waiver show with Hayden coming out this afternoon. It actually will be coming out on Monday Night Football. And then also got an article on Establish the Run, breakout or fake out. I think this week I'm going to go over Xavier Legette. Should be interesting to watch him play in this past breakout performance in week 4. Might look at Wicks as well, which should also be a fun one to watch. And then Chase Brown. It's really a Davis Mattek week on breakout or fake out. Chase Brown and Dontayvion Wicks. So I'll have thoughts on those guys for your leagues coming up on Wednesday. Davis, what do you have going on this week? I want to tell people about.
Immediately after this, there's going to be a stream starting on my channel that if you don't even leave this page, it's going to redirect right to my YouTube page. I'm going to start by looking at all the Chiefs data and just figuring out what they're actually going to do. And then just kind of look at some of I'm going to look at Chase Brown's numbers, Dontayvion Wicks, all that stuff's just going to kind of be a reaction. So, cause we are not doing panicking or bag defending. So there's going to be a lot of bag defending and a lot of panicking. And then I'll be live on my channel every day this week and for a couple hours on Sunday morning.
Yeah. I will say that Chase Brown and Wicks stuff, we didn't get a chance to let you do a victory lap there, but two very good takes from Davis, at least after week 4.
Just doesn't even matter.
Take some credit, take some happiness there. Pat, what do you have going on this week on Leg Up?
There's 2 Monday Night Football games tonight, and Matt Irby has written them both up in an article called The Quick Slant. That is live on legendaryupside.com right now, so check those out. Stephanie Miller's waiver wire article will be out tomorrow, and we're going to have rest of season rankings, weekly rankings. The walkthrough will be out Friday morning as always. So yeah, legendaryupside.com, check it out. Got you covered for all your weekly stuff.
Sounds good, guys. We'll see you next week.